Climate change could affect our society through impacts on a number of different social, cultural, and natural resources. So, for example, climate change could affect human health, infrastructure, and transportation, as well as energy, food, and water supply. So, some groups of people will likely face greater challenges than others. So, climate change may especially impact people who live in areas that are vulnerable to coastal storms, drought, and sea level rise, or people who live in poverty, older adults, and immigrant communities, which is similarly some types of professions and industries may face considerable challenges from climate change. So there are some effects of climate change on our society. So the impacts of this climate change on different sectors of society are interrelated. So drought can harm food production and human health. Flooding can lead to disease spread and damages to ecosystems and infrastructure. So human health issues can increase mortality, impact food availability, and limit worker production. Causes and effects of climate change. One of these are humans are increasingly influencing the climate change and the Earth's temperature by burning fossil fuels, cutting down forests, and farming livestock. So these add enormous amounts of greenhouse gases and to those naturally occurring in that atmosphere. So increasing the greenhouse effect and global warming. We all know that greenhouse gases is the main driver of climate change, and it is the greenhouse effect. So some gases in the Earth's atmosphere act a bit like the gases in the greenhouse. So many of these greenhouse gases occur naturally. So but human activity is increasingly the concentrations of some of them in the atmosphere in particular. So as you can see, that are the causes of rising emissions like burning coal, oil, and gas produces carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide. So cutting down forests or deforestation. So trees can help to regulate the climate by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So when they are cut down, that beneficial effect is lost and carbon stored in the trees is released into the atmosphere by adding to the greenhouse effect. So increasing livestock farming like cows and sheep produces large amounts of methane when they digest their food. So fertilizers containing nitrogen produce nitrous oxide emissions, and fluorinated gases are emitted from equipment and products that use these gases. So such emissions have a very strong warming effect, up to 23,000 times greater than carbon dioxide. Climate affects nearly every aspect of our lives, from our food sources to our transport infrastructure, from what clothes we wear to where we go on holiday. So it has a huge effect on our livelihoods, our health, and our future. So climate is the long-term pattern of weather conditions in any particular place. So we know that our climate is changing due to humans, and these changes are already having a big impact on our lives. So it is important that we understand how the climate is changing so that we can prepare for the future. Studying the climate helps us predict how much rain the next winter might bring, or how far sea levels will rise due to warmer sea temperature. So we can also see which regions are most likely to be affected by extreme weather, or which wildlife species are threatened by climate change. So in preparing climate action plans, there is usually a desire for specific goals and a need to stay within financial constraints. Because of this, a hybrid approach that combines goals and financial constraints is most typical. And developing a climate action plan is an iterative process that sets preliminary goals, evaluates specific measures, and calculates financial impact, and then revises the goals. So, action plan could include first is campaigning to reduce behavioral change, developing more sustainable community of producing products and food locally, providing services to people affected by climate change. So the second one is reducing the use of energy in buildings. So the third is local solutions and sustainable energy access and transformation. And the last one is creating wealth from waste and reclaiming green spaces and implementing the sharing of economy. So for today, I will demonstrate to you what could be my action plan on climate change. My action plan is that create a cleaner transportation system by addressing greenhouse gas pollution from cars on the road today, by increasing the availability of zero emission vehicles on the road tomorrow, by deploying a cleaner trucks and making transit more available. So work in partnership with First Nations and Métis communities to address climate change. So with actions guided by traditional ecological knowledge and helping to build capacity in these communities to participate in the economic opportunities that may arise from the action. So build on progress and leading by example and acting and opportunities to make government operations carbon neutral. By we will achieve this by reducing greenhouse gas pollution across our facilities, so operation and procurement. So ensure natural, agricultural and forested lands are used in ways that are efficient and sustainable and enhance the removal storage of carbon from the atmosphere. So with this, we can build the circular economy, which calls for zero waste in the province and zero greenhouse gas pollution from the waste sector. We all question that why is preparing for climate change is important. So it is also known as climate change adaptation. It is because about reducing the risk of climate change impacts to people, as well as the places and resources. So we know that climate change is already occurring and that additional warming is unavoidable. So if we hope to limit the negative impacts of climate change, so we must prepare by identifying vulnerabilities and by planning accordingly.
This is the world. That's you and that's me. The world has the perfect temperature to keep all living things alive and happy. This temperature depends on a balance. The sun's heat goes to Earth to make it warm. The sun's heat bounces back to space to make the Earth cool. When this balance is lost, the climate changes. The Earth's climate has changed many times before. This is called natural climate change. It's caused by volcanic eruptions, changes in the sun's energy, and changes in the Earth's orbit. Greenhouse gases also make the Earth warmer. They trap heat from the sun. Greenhouse gases are like a blanket covering the Earth. It started in the 1700s. Humans started to build more things. We burned coal to make electricity. We burn oil to make our cars and planes move. We use chemicals to make things. We cut down lots of trees. We burn gas to cook food. We dump lots of trash on landfills. We plant a lot more rice. All these things release greenhouse gases. Remember the blanket over the Earth? Because of humans, it got much thicker. When I get hot, I sweat. I even get dizzy. Imagine the Earth. Because it's hotter, glaciers and ice sheets are melting. Seas are rising, storms are getting stronger, some places are getting dry, even the sea is getting warmer. All living things are in big trouble. So what should we do? We need to change the way we live so we can stop releasing so much greenhouse gases. That way, the Earth's blanket will go back to normal. We also need to be ready for what climate change will bring. In December, there will be a big meeting of nations. They'll meet in Paris to decide how each country can help. Their decision will decide the future of Earth, our home.